Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408 or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them.
If you no talk, then go beat you.
Now 2,500 they pay.
Tenancy agreement. So in a case that the landlord wants to evict the tenant, in a case there's no tenancy agreement, what happens in court?
Well, usually what the court will do, or what is expected of the landlord in that situation, is to look at the mode of payment. Number one, it is established, there is no controversy as to the fact that the tenant is a tenant of the landlord, whether or not there is a written tenancy agreement. The fact that there is possession, the tenant is in possession of the premises, and he has made some form of payment, which is rent, to the landlord for the use of the premises, that would create a relationship, a tenancy relationship between the landlord and the tenant.
Space and Style, 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays and 5:30 p.m. on Wednesdays.
Good morning. This is the news brief. I am Messi Bopo. The former vice president and aspirant of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, and ex-Jigawa State Governor, Lamido Salusi, have rejected the consensus arrangement Northern Elders for the party as Northern Elders Forum, led by Professor Ango Abdullahi, selected consensus candidate, which the former Senate President, Bukola Saraki, former Managing Director, FSB International Bank, Hayatu Din, former Governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Tambawal, and Bauchi State Governor, Bala Mohammed. The National Executive Committee, the PDP, has set Wednesday aside to meet in Abuja to take a decision on the zoning of the presidency. This was made known through a signed by the party's National Secretary, Samuel Ayam. The Unity Schools Old Student Association held a press conference on Victoria Island to express their displeasure concerning a continuous kidnappings of innocent Nigerians by bandits. They also worried that the Nigerian government has not done much to reduce the attacks. Our correspondent Paul George was there and now reports.
Insecurity in Nigeria and the bandits' attack on the Abuja-Kaduna train. That's the theme of this press conference. It was put together by the Unity Schools Old Students Association, USOSA. The coalition of the alumni of Unity colleges in Nigeria was also represented by a member, Lawrence Wilbert. They are worried that some of their members have fallen victim to insecurity. Dr. Chinelo Megafu, who died in the Abuja-Kaduna train attack, is one such.
Angered by the series of wanton killing, kidnapping, rape of thousands of innocent Nigerians by ISWAP, members of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and numerous other devious, bloodthirsty groups within and beyond our national boundaries.
They are calling on the government to ensure Nigerians' safety and sustain the economy. By all means, the wanton killings across the country must stop.
Buried one of our own, a young lady, Dr. Chinelo Megaphone of Queen's College. The gruesome killing and abduction of scores of staff and passengers of the Abuja-Kaduna train on the 28th of March, 2022 is for us an inglorious crossing of the absolute red line.
Other members also lent their voice to this message to the authorities with no holds barred.
In sharper context, the stress indicators that show how bad our situation is, because somebody is talking about now more than ever before. And this discussion we're having today is not partisan. It's not partisan in that sense. It's about our development. We're talking development here. On every stress index of our economy, there's been deterioration.
We need our people to be secure. We have a lady, a member, who has her 4 children and her husband. We don't know where they are. We don't know if they're alive. We don't know if they're dead. We have 5 sisters, and so on and so forth.
People read and say, oh, they spoke about it. Who are these people? They're just being sentimental or being political or X. These are our friends. These are our family. These are people we grew up with. So the reason why now is that it even touches us more now.
The strongest form of peaceful protest for the average citizen, in fact for every citizen, is the ballot box. If the government does not perform, you vote them out at the ballot box till they understand and recognize that they are there to perform a service and render that service.
As insecurity is still a bane in Nigeria, the group wants Nigerians to correct the wrongs by using their voters' cards at the next election. Paul George, Plus TV News.
Suspected gunmen have abducted 10 members of a Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria in Anambra State with 300 cows. They were said to have demanded 4 million naira ransom and a gun from families of the victim. The Southeast Chairman of Meeti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, Alhaji Gidado Sidiki, confirmed the incident. The incident happened at Obene community in Ogbara local government area. Settlement of the headers around 1:30 a.m. Operatives of Ondo State Security Network, popularly called Amotekun, have rescued 4 girls who were being moved to Ghana for child trafficking by notorious female traffickers. The Amotekun operative also seized 300 cows and arrested 4 headers for flouting the anti-open grazing law in the state. Ayodeji Moradayo compiled this report.
It is another harvest of criminals by operatives of the Amotekun in Ondo State. 24 suspects were arrested at various locations for different offenses. One of them is a 27-year-old human trafficker who was arrested in the act. According to the commander of Amotekun in the state, Adetunji Adeleye, the suspect was arrested while trying to traffic 4 girls to Ghana. Apart from her, 2 suspects were arrested for impersonating Amotekun officers in Ondo East local government area of the state.
We were able to apprehend this lady with the victims, and upon interrogation we found out that he deceived the victims that was taking them to Ghana to look for greener pastures. Those are the victims there. this is the lady that was involved in the human trafficking. And from interrogation, she said she was taken down from Gogolaba.
One of the rescued girls narrated how the syndicates promised to take her to Ghana.
We were working here. Then our madam run and leave us there. So they are the one that plan enter us in Ghana State. So we went to Abuja here. So by the time that our madam run, then we now come to Gwawalada. So we used to see this something, this Gwawalada, but we didn't talk to her. It's only day before yesterday.
Also apprehended were 4 others who flouted the anti-open grazing law in the state, as well as internet fraudsters, robbers, among other suspects.
A Friday night explosion that occurred at an illegal bunkering site in Imo State has left 100 people dead. The explosion occurred at around 8 p.m. Unidentified burnt bodies littered the areas. Even family members were seen moving away the remains of their loved ones.
Just heard the news that my sister just burned from fire.
Just like that.
It's a painful, so I cannot even recognize her here.
Sure.
Understand? I don't know what is happening in this. Okay, why can't them do something that's supposed to be okay for everybody to be okay?
It's very, very unfortunate, and I don't know how to describe this tragedy. This is tragedy that no one can even dream of. Where over 108 people were burnt to ashes. Burnt beyond recognition due to illegal oil bunkering. I think the government of Imo State and the federal government should step up to stop this illegal.
And dignitaries have continued to pay their last respect to the Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Lamidi Adeyemi. For the eldest daughter of the monarch, Folashade Adeyemi, her father's demise is still a shock. She said that she missed him for his words of wisdom and for being a very strong traditionalist.
It was very, very shocking. I just checked my blood pressure. It's 180. So that should answer your question. I couldn't believe it until I arrived and see his body. So then it's now the reality now sinking. I'm going to miss his intelligence, the wisdom, especially the wisdom and, the dance, especially for me, it's the dance steps. Instead of going to encyclopedia, I go to him. I felt like Baba have taken the whole Yoruba with him, the culture, the tradition. He has went with him because you cannot find any other traditional ruler that can truly call themselves a traditionalist.
Also speaking from the palace was the former Commissioner for Local Government, Kolade Bimbo, who said the Alaafin was the custodian of Yoruba heritage and has left a big vacuum in that sense.
One is really not expecting it, but we thank God. I keep wondering in my mind since about around the 2 a.m. when the news came to me, when the call came in that this happened, that indeed the custodian of Yoruba heritage is gone. Who we know history, who will be the next authority that we can lay claim to in Yoruba land. But we know that usually there's no vacuum. We believe God that yes, God will raise someone who can really enter into Baba's feet.
A non-governmental organization, Health of Mother Earth Foundation in Benin City, the Edo State capital, has expressed worries over the ravaging effect of climate change over the years and called for the need to protect Earth from further degradation. And with research showing that over 14 million metric tons of plastics are emptied into the ocean on an annual basis, the organization stressed the need to check these avoidable disasters.
governments in Nigeria pay too little attention to the environment. For the smallest budgetary allocation shows the kind of careless attitude about what is going on around us. And that is what builds the health of the people and what builds also the economy of the people, because the economy depends on what we have in our natural environment. At individual level, we can do things that would help to cool the planet. For example, plant a tree at least in your premises. If you don't have land in your compound, you can use a bucket, plant a tree in the bucket. It still works very well.
We begin to change how we use these single-use plastics. It will go a long way to reduce the amount of plastic waste we generate. We have seen already that the oceans are getting filled with about 14 million metric tons of plastic yearly. And if this trend continues, they've said by 2050, the amount of plastic we have in the sea will be more than the fishes we have. So the big question is, which do we prefer, fish or plastic?
The environment is being degraded, and more actions needs to be taken. It must come from both you, local communities, we changing our mindset on how we treat our environment, and also policymakers also ensure that they strengthen policies that are the grassroots. More often than not, most of the policies that they enact don't see the light of the day, in the sense that in the place of implementations, policies to really tackle climate action is weakening when it gets to the grassroots.
I do not think any law can be enacted. It takes government. So I think what we could do, or personal bits, would be submitting proposals and helping the government see the brighter side in enacting.
Now, as political parties put price tags on their presidential forms for aspirants, Nigerians react to this amount, and that's on our Street Views. Take a listen.
As a people, these are things that we need to take into consideration when making our choice of a party to support or the candidates to support, because there is consequence to such things being put in place. You don't expect someone that pays a huge price and buys from his pocket to actually then not want to recoup that money. Where do they get such money from to buy just a form where it's not guaranteed you're going to win? So, as citizens, we need to be watchful of that and make our decisions.
It's not ideal, especially if you look at what's going on in the country now. 100 million is a lot of money. I don't want to use the word absorb, but it's a lot of money. And the consideration is, for me, is what's the basis? How did you come about 100 million? I think the other parties are doing 40 million, 35. Even 10 million is a lot of money, given the fact that we're looking for a leader now who doesn't necessarily have to have all the way to do financially, but a leader who knows what it is that the country needs or is expected of him.
They are making the money for the party. The party belongs to the money belongs to the party. So you can never say maybe it's wrong or it's right. Because even though they say it's a trillion. If you have the power, you do it, you pay it.
It doesn't make any sense at all. That's too much. At least there have been like 50,000 at least. Actually, that's too much. 100 million, no. 100 million, 100,000, I don't understand. 100 million, no, that's too much. No, it's too much. No.
If a Nigerian, an individual will bring out 100 million from his purse to buy for form to run for the presidency, meaning that he has trillions of naira in his account. Therefore, EFCC is supposed to go there and find out what is working. If you happen to buy the form too, what are you going there to do? You must bring your money back, put your interest before you think of others.
That's ridiculous. In fact, when I heard the news, and I'm wondering, where do they want like genuine people to actually get this kind of money? People that can afford it are people that are actually stealing. The other time, a certain man did a burial and EFCC invited him over to probe him because of the money he spent for the burial. So EFCC should also invite these ones that are able to buy these forms and then probe them and ask them where they got that money from, because you can't tell me it's not it's genuine. Even if it's genuine, when they enter now, they will want to steal and get back that money.
And to other parts of Africa, Kenya could be staring at yet another fuel shortage linked to fuel supply challenges brought by insufficient fuel stocks in the market. An independent dealer who sought confidentiality would reveal that the country has enough fuel stocks that were dealers who are still patronizing the export market at the expense of local market. He cited data which was revealed during a closed-door meeting held among energy stakeholders. A week ago, Energy and Petroleum Cabinet Secretary Monica Juma had raised similar concerns. She blamed a group of oil marketing companies for holding fuel stocks and diverting them to export markets, further worsening the crisis. The importers are expected to adhere to the ratio of 60-40 for local transit, but has not been able to deliver on this particular case. And outside Africa, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has had a news conference inside a metro station as Russian invasion of the country enters its third month. Dozens of journalists from international organizations gathered inside the metro station in Kyiv, while armed guards stood next to arriving and departing passengers' train. Zelensky announced the imminent arrival of U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin for talks, adding that the hopes to secure more heavy weapons in his country's fight against Russia. The Lebanese Public Workers and Transport Minister have visited Tripoli port in the early hours after a boat carrying 60 passengers sunk off the coast. Aliami, with emergency responders near the scene, which claimed one child's life. Speaking to members of the media at the port, it was described that the sinking as a tragedy on all levels. And in business, the average price of food items in Nigeria recorded significant increase within 1 year period, spanning between February 2021 and February 2022, according to data from the National Bureau of Statistics. According to this data, average cost of beans rose by 50.1% from 331 naira and 48 kobo to 997 naira and 54 kobo during the review period. On a monthly basis, the price of beans recorded an average of 3.34% from 481.47 kobo in January 2022 to 497 to 3 kobo in February 2020. As of February 2021, the average cost of 1 kilo of fresh tomatoes was 269.18 kobo. It, however, increased to 393.0.8 kobo in February 2022, indicating 46.03% increase. Other food items that recorded notable increase during the period under review are bread and groundnut oil. And in sports, Tyson Fury emerged unshattered from a turbulent fight week to cement his place among the greatest of heavyweight boxing with a stunning technical knockout over Dillian Whyte on Saturday, April the 23rd night, in what the Gypsy King would say would be his final bout. Fury entered the ring and uploaded a 6-round uppercut that left Whyte unable to continue in the opinion of the referee. The vast majority of the Wembley Stadium crowd roared their approval as Fury went from zero to hero again. Fury said he would be sticking to his promise to his wife to retire with promoter Frank Warren, backing the 33-year-old's decision to quit. And that's the news brief. For more stories, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. Many thanks for watching. I am Messi Boko.
Is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria?
welcome to Plus Trending. I am Vicky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from Plus TV Africa.
Hello and a very warm welcome to you. Thank you for taking time out to join us this weekend for our conversation on the family and imputing the right kind of values. I am John Senaya.
I don't know what side of the world you are watching from, but right here in Lagos, Nigeria, it has been, would I say an interesting or a mixed grill, you know, week for me and for a lot of us, particularly if we remember the issue that rocked one of the schools here in Lagos, Chrisland schools particularly, and the allegations of underage children having sex. Yes, I will use that word as it is. We've been running away from it, and perhaps that's why we have loads of this challenge. So when they were supposed to be under adult supervision on an international school trip, there have been arguments and counter-arguments on responsible parenting, the school duty, and children finding out about their bodies. There have been questions about that. Who is responsible for what has happened, John?
Yeah, well, today we'll be asking hard questions, real hard questions. Should we all have children in the first place? Right? Is it a one-size-fits-all for raising children? And then how do we teach our children about their bodies and sex? Are we conscious of how we are raising our children, or are we just cruising along?
That word, cruising along. Yeah. And the first question you ask, is it compulsory for everybody to have children? That's a big one. That's a very, very huge question.
Yeah.
Humanity demands, and even the Creator says, human beings should go forth and reproduce and replenish the earth. And he didn't the Holy Bible did not say some.
Yeah,
it was just a command.
Even if humanity prescribes that, I think we should also prepare ourselves for that task. You don't take up a task without preparing for it.
True.
So we have to put ourselves in the right frame, prepare ourselves, be sure that we are ready to take on that role. And I would believe strongly that that is where we are falling short.
I laughed because when you say preparation,
yes,
they tell you that marriage is a school that is ongoing, and parenting is a school too that you're learning from the moment you have a child until like forever. You're learning, you're constantly learning, evolving new things, how to do things better.
Yeah.
So there's really no point where you can say you have been adequately trained or
that is
prepared.
in the detailing. The structures have to be put up right from the beginning. If you know where you're going, you may not have the details of how you're going to move.
True.
So you fit in the details. That's the learning. That's the learning on the job.
Yeah.
But the structures have to be there. You have to be determined that, one, this is where I'm going. This is what I want to achieve. This is the outcome that I want to see. If you have that in focus, then you're likely, to get the right results.
We would like to get the right results. That's why we're seated here today with two brilliant, and well-informed guests who will be helping us through. But you see, some things that stare at us in the faces, really, what's the background of the parents who are expecting to parent children? How much do we know? How much do they know?
What was the background of our parents who also parented us? And I think relatively, maybe arguably, our generation or the generation before us turned out better results than we are finding.
Because the events of the week, particularly as we talk about this issue, threw out a lot of things. And for me, it's parents being so permissive, parents being so absent, parents not knowing jack about their children.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see how it goes on the program.
All right, so many questions. We have two experts in the house, like I said earlier, who will be answering these questions and a lot more. And we hope that we'll be able to represent you in terms of, the arguments that would be going on in your mind right now. But let's take a break. When we come back, our guests will be seated and we'll get right to it. It's Today with John and Helen on Plus TV. Thank you again for joining us. I'm Helen Ongma Odeleye.
If you're just joining us, you're in luck, just about. And we're about to start the conversation. Our first guest really is no guest to us. He's our, what you call in-house therapist, professional counselor, chartered mediator, and profound spiritotherapist and futurist, Excel Adeleye Samuel. I'm sure you're familiar with that name by now.
None of that.
Excel.
None other than Excel.
Thanks for joining us, Excel.
Thank you for having me again.
Thank
It's
you.
an honor,
Thank
privilege being here.
So in the light of recent happenings, everyone has one theory or the other on parenting. We want to ask you, Excel, is there a style to parenting? Is there a code to parenting?
Well, that's a very simple but complex question. By research, it has not been found that a particular style is what works. So there are many doors to a city, as I said. So it is then important in conscious parenting, as we're saying, for each family system to discover which one works. And when you discover that, you also need to know which one works for each child. Very critical.
Okay.
Okay. So are there styles? Are there ways? Like you know, if you went to a counseling school now, for example, like young couples, you know, and they go for counseling, are there like, this is one, this is two types of parenting?
Okay, you see, particularly what you've been taught, it's about parenting, about family system building, about how to make your family a nation, how you groom your children, starting from how you are grooming yourself, because we replicate ourselves and all of that. However, when it now comes to individual children, it is more of customization rather than generalization. And I think that's where parents miss it most times.
Customization.
It has to be customization.
The style you use for one child
could be definitely different from other children.
Because we're all different.
We're just different. I mean, some children, by their making, just want to learn from experience because they like to explore.
Yeah.
I, as a person, I would like to act while learning.
To do what? Act.
I like to act, then learning.
Okay. Or you learn through acting.
You get it now.
Yes, okay.
But for some children, they just want to enjoy you to teach them and talk to them.
And acting you mean by observation?
No, by observation, by even doing something, by experiencing it.
Okay.
And that's why I love to learn. You get it now? Because by nature, I'm a practical person. Even when I'm talking, I'm painting a picture.
Wow.
Yeah.
You get it? I'm a practical person. You get it now?
Okay. So somebody's talking about conscious parenting.
Yes.
What is that?
You see, conscious parenting simply means you first understanding parenting, what it is, understanding yourself, then using these two tools to help your child also to know who they are, to direct them the path they should go, and getting the result that both of you desire. Now, it's a two-way thing now.
Would it be the same thing as intention, being intentional?
Yeah, that's another word for
being
conscious.
Deliberate.
You are deliberate, you are conscious and all
You're
that.
conscious.
And then when you use this adjective, you find out there's something that is similar about it. It's hard work.
And presence.
It takes a lot of
hard work.
Hard work and presence.
Yes. It's like you waking up to go to your job every day. Hard work.
Okay.
Hard work.
Okay, now, well, some of us, well, Helen, I know, belongs to the old school.
Okay.
We can't say the same.
I know you belong to young school.
We can't say the same.
Yours belongs to the Generation Z.
But, okay, now, where I'm going is this. You see, in the African context,
yes.
You know, they always say that parenting is seen to be the responsibility of the community and maybe not directly of.
No.
How does it work? How does that concept, how does it work? Or does it still work?
You see, for me, I try to take a personal observation beyond what is provided for us to use as research base. And we need to look, because one of the things also we are living in Africa is that we're not doing research about even our training. Our cultures and our values are not thoroughly researched. For example, there's no history in schools to even know. And if we begin to hear about Benin as a city, you see what history Benin has created in the world, but those things was eradicated. So the question then we should ask is this: were we groomed and behaved civil with our culture and our tradition? Yes. Were there many errors or what could have been done better? Yes. Including what we're embracing now, we can see the errors. So it is my submission that they said the community builds the children as we grow up. It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, my mother just have to say, stay at home, and then I stepped out. It takes somebody around to say, iya lagbajaba, like we say. I actually saw your son on the road. Then you know you are done. So if you want to commit your crime, you go very far. I know that. So I think our cultures and the community bring value and some level of sanity. And that's what they do. Values and morals.
So when you
those
talk,
things are being
No, they are being totally.
Because when you talk community, you're not talking Lagos, you're not talking Port Harcourt,
No,
you're
no,
not
yes.
talking Abuja.
Exactly.
Because nobody can come from the next yard, if I want to use that word, and say, Lagbaja, your child.
Yes, you know what?
Be like,
you know
can
what?
you mind your
you know what
business?
you just brought out there. What it means that what we had then was extended family. Though they are not your blood relative, but they are your
Well, there
family.
was a
So that when
connection.
you grow up, you don't say that guy was my neighbor. You say my brother.
Yeah.
So when you're talking to other people, you say that is my
there
brother
was a
now.
network.
There was
a
that
connection.
strong bond.
Connection, that's a word.
However, there was also errors
Along the way, of course.
I mean, and that's life generally.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
So I think is my submission. How do we correct that? Now embracing the relevant parenting skills also. That is not, for example, there was no IT. There was no social media. How do we incorporate that also into the parenting that we do now? I think that's the missing link, because our children now are very far from us. Like saying you are going to America and somebody is in Oshodi somewhere. The distance is very wide, and parents are not admitted to that reality.
True. Okay, Excel, last week we were about molestation, you know, brutality in marriages and all of that.
Yeah.
And one of the things that stared us in the face was the fact that you could see them. There were some red flags. There were signs that this would happen, even from courtship days, if there was courtship. Now, are there visible signs, for example, for a failure in child parenting? And if there are, what are they?
You see, this particular question you say to me is what gets me more emotional. And when I have opportunity to address large gathering of parents, I first tell them, please don't be angry with me, because I will come at you. You feel insulted, feel downgraded, but please just accept me for this time. And this is about to say, as I think about the crisis that has been lingering on social media, I did a post on my Start on Ask in the last 6 months. Have you read one book on parenting? Or attended 2 training, offline or online, on parenting? And every time I ask these questions, most parents says no. Now, how do you intend to get sweet results from what you don't invest in? That is armed robbery. If you do that.
From what you don't invest in.
Yes, that's armed robbery.
That's fraud.
That's fraud. So we are doing parental fraud.
Wow.
So to expect that a child will be a civil, we know how to control the social media content without you investing, you should be flogged as a parent. You get it now? So the signs is, number one, lack of education. We rather invest in taking them abroad. We rather invest in paying high school premium, and we have not paid 150,000 naira, not what we $1,000 to just put something in you to update yourself. So we rather buy some designer clothes and make them some hair, or put an iPhone. We are putting machine gun in their hand to use first to kill themselves, have to kill everybody. So what you see in the social media, what you see happen right now, is they're shooting not just themselves, other children, and I mean, some family image has been destroyed, their name has been tarnished based on what is happening. And it's hard to correct back.
That is really
so. We are deceiving ourselves, and our children look at our eyes, and some of them really are causing us for themselves. And so sometimes see how we need to negotiate discipline or constructive corrections and all of that. And many years ago, one in Grading where we did some little survey with some children. And I remember in that boarding house, one of the big boarding houses in this country, and I was having a discussion with them. And one of those, so I did really like a conference, discussion. And one of the things all of them said is this very common. They said, we know that our parents put us here so they can have time to do other things.
Yeah.
That's very deep.
So children know that we are doing outsourcing parenting because we don't take responsibility.
Hey, but you see,
so then I ask,
life has changed.
No, when from 1 year.
Yeah, so,
2 years,
so I ask, how can you be irresponsible as a parent, expecting your children to be responsible?
True.
Not at all. So children are aware. The children you correct even in a hard way knows that he loves me and he wants the better of my life. But the one you let be also knows that even this guy don't know Jack himself, and they look. And this is my concern, like I say to parents. A time will come when you are very old, and that child will determine what you eat and what you do. Yes. It will be the quality of that child mind that will determine how you live those years to go. So what is the quality of the mind? Those who are not emotionally strong or assertive, those who don't know how to say no or yes, those who can't think correctly, those who already has been battered,
those who don't have affection,
by things that the one. These are obvious signs, and I'm not sure what is happening. I'm also so surprised that everybody is surprised to see that this has also been in existence for years. If we take good observation, this has always been in existence. So what are we surprised about? And in reality, I ask everybody who wants to make a comment, are they not also abused? Are they talking about it? Were they also not molested? Who is talking about all of that? And I mean, I put up yesterday and asked a question: were you molested as a boy child? And a guy by senior aunties, and a guy said yes, it was one of the aunties that initiated me to sex and all of that. So, and guess what? Your child just needs to go on online to ask the questions. Why should I sustain my virginity? There are a lot of options why you should not. You just have to. How does it feel as a girl to first time sex as a virgin? There are a lot of options online to tell you how it is and how it can be done smoothly.
That if you don't know, that is the conversation has not already taken place between you and your mother.
And we can see that social media can't actually be controlled, though there are other means technically that has been proven you can use to control your child. But largely, if the age bracket expected minimum is 13, the question I then ask is this: are they 10 years old joining? Yes, because you can't verify age. Secondly, two, are they now content by 21, 22, procreative enough to initiate a child? Yes, obviously. So me and a child sit down to watch same thing. And as an adult, even there's something I can't control, how much more my child?
So clearly, the role of parenting is quite a handful.
Correct, sir.
And it's difficult for a couple, that's two people, the husband and the wife. It's difficult enough for them, you know,
in today's,
Now, a lot of people have now blamed single parenthood on the lapses that we see in the grooming of children. Is that fair? Because we have
more now than
more single parenthood happening now than in the past.
You see, sir, the question also is tricky, and we have to look like deeper from research and for the obvious. The question we should ask is that how come people become single parents first? It gives a deeper answer, because when we just take it from the basic of what we see, it doesn't give us understanding to go to the roots and really solve the problem. Because we have a community or we have a society where it talks about the problem more now, not necessarily delegate or take up the solution and also go out. Because I mean, I'm in so many groups and they talk about this, but I see that people don't really come out with constructive solution and let us together find how to act on the solution now, because we are afraid of what is going to happen next 30 years.
But a single parenthood,
that is where I'm going now. It is true and not true. Research has proven that most boys who end up as criminal, end up whatever in the society, girls are prostitute, are either children from broken home or children who had absentee father in their life, or children who grew up also, though they are from nuclear family, but a poorly behaved family.
Is that proven?
No, proven. Research proven.
It's recorded.
Research proven. Research proven. And they do that in prisons. Is what you can Google.
Okay.
You get it now. Or this way in prisons. Okay. Now, the single parenting now the yardstick to grow more bad children, not true. A lot of people have been proven who are single parents that has dish out people of this world. Obama is one of them. You could mention this surgeon who is now a Republican Party guy. Lots of them. And we have a lot of in the society here. It is not true. Because let me say, even what we practice in Africa, we have doctored single parenting. Let me explain what that means. Is that we have parents that the father is at home or comes home, but is not involved in parenting of that child. That woman is a single parent, disguising as a married woman. That's even more.
That's even more.
That is more in our society as an African, because we believe that it's your choice of future with you and your children. Who are your children? It's single parenting. You get it now? You know, it's just packaged. So, but it's not true. However, by research and by obvious fact, it is hard also for one person to parent a child. Not even the man or the woman. Yeah. It's a hard one. If the woman is one who is disciplined, where is the one-to-one balance? That's what I advise. As we take more cases in divorce now, you have to involve someone or another party to help also out when it's needed. You get it now? It is very critical. So that's why we advise as a single mother, please don't marry your children. What does that mean? A lot of single parents just wake up and say, you know, I will just face only with my child. If you need to find love, you show them how to go and love. If you need to do a date, let them see you being happy, man. And that is the key. As a matter of fact, I have discovered this in my work, that most children who grew up from divorcee home, probably those who grew up, let's for single mother, wish that their parents found love again. As a matter of fact, most of them are also not happy that their parents didn't have a balanced life. It just focused on them. It didn't also find happiness and love for themselves.
Okay.
So there must be balance to that.
You threw in something now that we haven't really taken into consideration, as we ought to, the important aspect of social media. Yes. And the effects that they have, and the need for us to, you know, be conscious of it and also move with the times. I'm talking about parenting. How much of it how much of social media, how do we control, you know, our children when it comes to social media? Because for as young as they are, it is the phones.
Yeah.
24/7. Whether you haven't bought for them. I read yesterday when someone was saying, don't give a phone to any of your child until they are in university. But I know loads of children at this point in time in secondary schools who have, you know, phones, and they are open to all of the content on social media. What can we do?
Well, as a practitioner, this is my submission in that regard. The message by an authority in the religious sector when they say that don't give phone to a child until they're 18 is also debatable, as much as he has a proven result. Then we also don't neglect proven result. And I did easily. I did a quick questioning with my daughter. If she's watching now, she can hear this. And I played that same message to her. She's not up to 18. She'll be 17. Then I said to her, what is your take about what this guy said? He said, it's actually true to a level. Then I said, what do you mean? Because sometimes you just need it for your education and all of that. Then I did a questioning of her. Tell me, have you used it well also? And I make reference to 3 incidents. Okay. Then he said it's true. So what do we then do? Because sometimes you're also making a very big decision like that, coupled with what is happening, you know also to carry them along. Very critical, because they also need to, they will need to replicate also your training and all of that. So sometimes we need, my submission is this, you need to give your children what they can handle, not what they can handle. So it's likely that a 14 years old, as you can see right now, is already creating app, global app, that is used for everybody at 14. Go to India, go to China, you see most of these apps are created by young ones. We see young people already developing things. Do we now say we will now limit their ability to create most of those things? No! That's why we need to now create curriculum and courses on social media, both the use and preventive use of it. First, the parents need to educate themselves. I will give you an instance. There was a circulation of a picture of the young lady.
We'll have to do that quickly.
Yes, and the circulation says that she's using social media. Guess what? Most parents don't know the particular social media she's using. True. It's not Twitter, it's not TikTok, it's none of that. Most parents are not aware of that. So parents need to not go very far. And the way to connect to children is to come to their level. If you're on social media, you're aware of all those things, you're asking them questions, they feel, yes, this. A very story somebody shared in a group, they said they were in university and they went to this friend's uncle place. I know what he did. The uncle gave the lady a condom in case you want to have sex. And he said they were all shocked because that should not even happen. But he said this is what happened. That uncle connected them together such that they can have any kind of conversation with that uncle. We need to communicate to our children, even how we were molested or we molested people. We need to have that conversation. We need to do all of that. And that's the way to connect, because there need to also be truth.
Because that's the key word, connectivity.
Connectivity.
You know, connecting at all points. But then, this young girl and the boys, you know, trending now, they connected.
Yes,
the wrong way.
Yes, that's true. Everybody wants to connection. We need to be there. Yes, children will do things we don't know, but at least you should know them. They should know you. We need to be transparent enough. We need to come to their level. We need to accept we don't know a lot of things. You get it now? And they need to also know. They're also asking questions about God that we can't even answer. They're asking questions about most of this thing coming up and we don't have answers. So parents need to educate themselves. So and we need to be at par. You can be 60, but you can also be 30 in your behavior and what is upstairs here.
Excel. The task at hand is
enormous. Yes.
Humongous.
Yes, sir.
We will wrap up this session for now. Of course, we can't exhaustively.
Exactly.
But there's something I want to drop. Content. The issue of content. It looks like we don't know that it is even illegal for us, either as parents or as individuals, or to share pornography, child pornography, on social media. And I think that message has to be driven home. So could you help us drive that message home as we close this session today?
You see, when you share a porn of a child, you have actually extended the act to go on. For example, if the news of this child was not shared in the wrong way as it was shared, will have curtailed the matter, it will be properly dealt with. You get it now? Unfortunate thing is that we don't even know a lot of things. We don't even know it's wrong. Our law needs to be more firm in this matter. The social media content or influencer needs to be cautioned.
Need to even be informed.
See, and because they know that for every news I bring out, it's going to bring more followers. So there's greed. High greed. I mean, somebody posted and someone in a particular group posted the guest picture on the status and wants to talk about the guest child, the way she's dressed.
And bad news.
And another person who is the counselor has to address, please, it's wrong for you to just escalate this particular guest child. Guess what? This so-called minister in quote was angry and came at her, insulted that this is the person I know. And
so it is wrong?
It is wrong.
It is very wrong.
What is your intention? And even when you know the intention, have you vet your intention? We are causing more harms, even to the family, to that child.
And to more children out there.
That child can't take the picture back. But child may need to be corrected and become more influential. As much as she has opportunity to become a governor, she has to become a great influencer. So what do we do now?
Okay. All right. Excel is always a mind-blowing time with you.
Thank you so much.
And parenting, indeed, like you say, we observe is a daunting task, which requires consciousness, requires patience, a lot of wisdom, a lot of connection, and passion, because the children are our future. We are building the future. And probably we haven't done a good job at it. That's why we are where we are. Thank you again for coming today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, it's Today with John and Helen. That's our first segment of this discussion. We will take a quick break, and when we return, we'll be talking about teaching our children on their bodies or about their bodies and sexuality. Very important. So please stay with us, parents, stay with us, young boys and young girls out there. There's a lot for all of us to learn. See you again.
How can we have peace without justice?
Plus Politics. It's not just another political conversation, it's about keeping you in the know. The relevant interviews, asking the tough questions to those that matter. get the answers you need? Does it mean that the people who were injured, people who were shot at, those who were involved in that stampede are not going to get justice?
It is unfortunate, it is sad that we have a government of deaf and dumb.
Analysis from top experts.
The last election was not really an election.
We feel that Obasanjo has a very special place in his heart for hating Ijaw people.
I think it really boils down to two things. One, trust and accountability.
Plus Politics, every weeknight at 7 p.m. on Plus TV Africa.
So what are the top decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take?
I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science. Everyone says in Islam you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory? The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station, Plus TV Africa, and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajetumobi.
Thank you for staying with us. You're watching Today with John and Helen, and we've had a very interesting conversation.
Indeed.
You know, on how to raise our children with our last guest, Excel. And our next guest is Biodun Odunukwe. She is a parent-teen coach, certified family engagement and in education trainer, yeah, and an author of the book, The Redefined Parent. Thank you for joining us, madam.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I've been eyeing your afro since you walked in.
Thank you.
The name is Odunukwe.
Odunukwe. You pronounce it like an Oyigbo guy.
I flunked it.
But you tried. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
All right. So I'll kickstart this segment. All right. So when we do start educating our children about sex, or when should we start educating our children about sex and their sexuality, and in what form, in what manner?
Thank you very much. It's a question that many parents would actually like to know about. We should start educating our children about sex and sexuality as early as possible, if it is possible from birth. What I mean is that, by the time we give birth to them, we communicate. As soon as we are able to start communicating with the children in whatever way. And you might be wondering that how do you communicate sex with a baby? Of course, as the baby, children grow from stage to stage. And that as they grow, there comes a time when you use music to attract them. You sing for them and all of that. There are sex education songs that, music, different kind of music for the children at different stages that they'll get used to. So by the time they are like age 2 or age 2.5, they are getting used to the sound, they are getting used to the lyrics, and you start teaching them how to speak, how to read, how to listen to music and all of that. Then you begin to put it in gradually, and from there, they start knowing their body parts. They know that this part of the body is the private part, this part of the body is the public part, and they must know the names, the correct names, especially when it has to do with the vagina and the penis. You can see that when I'm saying vagina, I'm not feeling anyhow saying it's vagina. But for many parents, they can't call it because of the culture or because of our own upbringing. So we are like, how do I call?
Because it's as real as your nose and as simple as your nose and your ear and your eyes.
Exactly. But they call different names. They give it different names. And that is in itself a problem.
Maybe my own school is a little older. No, actually, Helen is of the older school. Now, as we progress, on the level of education and knowledge, the language gets a little more toxic, in quotes. Wouldn't it be a double-edged sword, kind of, when you now start opening your child's eyes to sex and sexuality?
Well,
when you start telling them about vagina, for instance, won't you be prodding them?
It depends on what you're talking to them about.
Exactly. And to start with, does vagina have another name apart from vagina? If I may ask. It doesn't have another name. And it is a part of the body. So because it is a part of the body, the child needs to know, just like Helen said, it's like you saying, this is my nose.
But won't you get them inquisitive unnecessarily?
Gradually, as they progress, we now need to be telling them the functions of each part of the body.
Okay.
So they need to know what each part of the body is meant for, and so
and how it can be abused.
It can be abused and not abused. So that's why I said it's in different stages. As they grow from stage to stage, we broaden their knowledge. It's just like they're moving from elementary stage to secondary stage. And all of that.
All right, there seems to be an awareness on protecting children from sexual or protecting sexual predators. There are so many predators around. What about the conversation on their own natural desires as human beings as they grow, and how to explore, with one another? The trending issue now is a girl and about 5 or 4 boys. And that relationship, or that thing that we saw, didn't just happen that day. It must have evolved. They're schoolmates, and they've had situations where they talked about a couple of things. Now, so how do we hit the nail on the head on the fact that these children are also human beings who have desires? How do we get...
Now, education is not just academics. Education is broad. And the saying that charity begins from the home, it can never change. Charity can never begin from the school. So the home is still the rightful place where certain education must be given to the child. So when parents ensure that they give their children the right education, informal most of the times, then it becomes easier for the school to follow up. Because as a child is growing, it is important for parents to learn about the characteristics of a child, to know, okay, at so age, these are the things I'm expecting from my child. These are the kind of behavior, these are the kind of things my child should feel. So before the child gets to that stage, we must learn about it. And we must have learned about it, then begin to discuss it with them. It is not when a child gets to the stage of puberty that you are telling, you're talking to the child about puberty. No. Nowadays we have children that start their menstruation, girls, at the age of 8. It is not impossible for us to have a girl menstruating at the age of 7. It is not impossible. So because we know, even if that is not happening to your own child, but you need to prepare the child's mind. By the time and all this thing has to do with the rapport you have created with your child. The rapport is very, very important.
Yeah.
The bonding. So all this must have been, done. The right environment has to. We must have had the right environment, so it becomes easier. So it's just like moving from one state to the other.
Yeah.
So that when the child even gets to school and experiences something, the child will be free to tell you because the child has heard something from mommy or daddy at home.
Something funny just crossed my mind. When you go to a new environment and you want to learn the language, you start. They say that it's easier to learn a language through knowing the abusive words and all of that. Well, I don't know if that is true, but now our children, let's relate it to what we're talking about. Our children learn about sex and sexuality even more on the playgrounds, in corners, among their
peers, we don't expect.
Where we don't expect, because that what you just talked about, that's the formal, decent education that you'll get from home. But the one that will really be interesting is the one that they whisper to each other on playgrounds and all of that. And most of the time they can't share this knowledge with mommy.
How do we deal with it?
How do we deal with it?
Well, maybe on the majority, they may not be able to share, but there are certain parents that have ensured that they do the proper thing by discussing these things with their children. So it becomes easier for those children to come back home and
still table it.
And table it before their parents.
In one way or the
in
other.
one way or the other. And that is where building rapport with the child is very key. It comes back to the home. You know. And you know, by the time we also see that our children start growing and start maturing, we need to be observant. Observe the kind of programs they watch, or maybe sometimes when you are watching a program together and maybe you may not know, but maybe there are some parts that they now show some sexual moves or whatever, and the child, is uncomfortable. Acts in a way. Of course, you can even throw it open to the child that, okay, why did you do like that? You know, the child is not expecting it. It is not all the time you have to sit down the child.
Formal conversation.
No. I mean, you could just be watching a movie, you could just be watching maybe a cartoon that the child is watching, and something comes up. Use that opportunity, to raise it. So by the time you are doing that, the child gets freer with you as a parent. It doesn't have to be in a formal setting.
All right, I wish we had a special show where we'll talk about this freer thing, because there's a school of thought that is like, is it better to be your child's friend or to be a parent to a child? That these two really, you can't join them. But that's not the case for today. There's a difference between sex and sexuality. Is there a difference? And if it is, what is it? How do you perceive it?
Okay, now, when we talk about sex, I will be narrowing it down to sexual intercourse, because that is what comes to mind when people say sex, or children, you're scared to talk to them about sex. Is the sexual intercourse aspect. That is what, and talking about sexual intercourse, we need to let our children understand that sexual intercourse is is an interplay of our sexual organs, with one another, and it is meant for pleasure or procreation by those who have agreed or have matured enough to enter into a marital agreement. We need to make it complete, because you can see that in that explanation I mentioned pleasure, and different people would want to have pleasure. So you have to now start defining what kind of pleasure. So that's what we have to table it down. So we won't just stop at that, but we have already said it has to be with matured people who have agreed to enter into, so that the child is also guided by that. At all times. Then when you talk about sexuality is broader. It is all encompassing. It talks about your everything about you. Your sexual makeup, what you need to know about yourself, what you need to know about your body, what you need to know about your emotions. So it is all encompassing. So it is broader. Sex is an act. So, but sexuality is a broader perspective.
Is a broader perspective.
Yes.
Now, this issue of the topic that we have today, drives us into so many angles. I'm just kind of imagining that some of our viewers who are watching now are still saying, no.
You can't talk to them.
We can't talk about sex. Because, you see, culture and religion plays a major role in how we, groom our children. Would you want to walk us through this?
That's very correct. While we were growing up, my mommy never talked to me about sex education. I won't blame her, because that is what she knows. The first time I saw my period, I couldn't even show my mom. I came back from school that day. I was in secondary school, and my pants got stained. The first person I was able to show was my neighbor, my mommy's friend, my neighbor. She was the one that helped me to, So many of us grew up because we were not told. We were not what they only told us then was that
if a man touches
and you know, when you say touch, it means so if I could go and touch you there, like, you know, and I could remember that in school I was like, you know, I didn't want to sit with boys and all those I can still remember. But things have changed. We are talking about digital age. We are talking about children who have started operating the computer from our wombs. You know, so if we are in an information age, it means that even though we were not given birth to in the information age, it is a duty on us. We have the responsibility of increasing our information. We have the opportunity of learning so that we can also know how to begin to communicate with them. Yeah. So sex is not something that it is because we don't want to talk about it. That is why we have a lot of issues about sexual immorality, because people are hiding. So if your parent is not talking, then the child goes outside to learn from friends.
Okay, we know for a fact right now that because of the economic situation and because of a lot of things in this age and this century, that presence of mind, you know, the presence of a father and a mother, having sufficient time, quality time to talk about all kinds of things that are beneficial for the development of a child, you know, it's almost absent. For a few homes, it's still happening. And then there's the disagreement that is more because of so many societal challenges. So the parents who are unable, and they shouldn't be, but there are some parents who can't really, either they don't know or they don't have the time. Is it right for them to seek counseling? Is there someone else out there, like a professional, that can help with this kind of information?
Yeah, we have 10 seconds for that.
There are several professionals, countless, but people don't take these things as priorities, and that is why they ignore it. You know, so a lot of professionals are out there, and parents should be willing to learn and unlearn what they already know, so that the professionals can also help them. We have parent coaches, we have counselors, we have relationship experts, you know, parent-child relationship experts, and all of that. So parents should seek counsel. The way they want to study more so that they can get promotion in their offices, they should also look for how people will help them so that they can have a better relationship with their children.
You know, Excel said that it begins with how informed know that the parents are. Before we tell you thank you and finally say bye on this segment, can you just, like a word to somebody who is just joining this show now, talk about this issue, like some key things that we should look out for and how to deal with them, like very quickly?
All right, I would say that make parenting a priority. It is very, very important, irrespective of the fact that the society is the way it is right now. We need to make parenting a priority. You know, when you make parenting a priority, then create the time. Quality time doesn't have to do with the amount. You can be with a child for 2 hours. 2 hours and you've not achieved anything. Yeah. You know, but even if it is 30 minutes, let your child know that there is this time that you spend, you know, with him or her, so that you use that opportunity to bond
we will
and to learn more
that.
things.
We will take that away with us. We have to prioritize parenting.
And I'm so glad that she said him or her, because there's a lot of emphasis now
on the women,
the girl,
on the girl,
yes. On the women.
It's on both sides.
And the emphasis now is for us to say thank you to our guests, because we have to leave now.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so a quick run to the gym, and after that, Farah Shonuga will be talking about aligning with your purpose. And that's also keying into the topic for today, knowing who you are and where you're headed. So stay with us.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the fitness section of today's show. Today we have a heavy cardio workout for you. As always, my name is Dolly Phillips, and this is Elvis. Yes, Elvis in the house. Okay, so sometimes I'm going to go with a slower version. So if you want to do it a little bit slower, follow me. And if you want to go advance the whole way, go with Elvis. All right, so we're going to start with a quick warm-up. Let's go. Deep breath in and out, in and out, in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more, in and out. All right, everyone, hands on your shoulders. Rotate backwards. 4, 3, 2, 1, and forward. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's tackle those arms back. 3, 2, 1, and forward. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bring those knees to the chest. Nice and easy. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Clasp hands together, turn over, and push. Stretch those shoulders. Now we're going to lift it up slowly to the ceiling. Grow. Lift your heels off the floor. Very good. Nice balance. And down slowly now. Lower those hands. Send your hands down to the floor. Make sure your feet are facing forward. Very good. Bend your knees and slowly roll up. And we're ready. Okay, so our cardio time starts now. Let's go. We're going to go with the scissors and we push. So make sure your legs are going one in front of the other. 2, 1, and rest it. Woo! Beautiful. Next one, burpees. I'm going to go with the easy version. No jumping for me. We're going down first. Let's go. And up, down, and up. Good. Excellent. One more. And rest it. We're going to start all over again from the beginning. Are we ready? Hands on your shoulders. Let's go. Come on. Push. We're working this morning. There's no time. It's a new month and we have to be fit this February. So that's it. Almost there. And rest it. Good job. What's the next one? One knee, one kick. We're starting with the left leg. Let's go now. Knee, kick. Elvis is jumping. Stay with him. If you can't jump, stay with me. Hey, hey. 2, 1, and rest it. All right, so we're going to do a bonus workout. Now, find somebody at home to work with, and let's go. Hand to hand, sit back down in a squat, and hold it. Pull the person, let the person pull you. Nobody's overpowering anyone. You need to balance your body weight. Woo! This is work. Can you feel it? How you can't feel anything, hold it. Those legs are burning. Woo! 3, 2, 1. Now, last one, back to back. And you sit down in that squat. Are we ready? Let's go. Push into your opponent. Let them push into you. Balance your body weight. Elvis, push now. Those legs are dying, that's why. Are you falling down? 3, 2, 1, and up. Oh, wow. That was an excellent workout. So now, let's do a quick stretch, and we're done. In, and out. In, and out. 2 more, and out. 1 more, and out. Quad stretch. Find your balance, you can do it. And down. Other side. Always good to stretch those muscles after working out. Your stretch is just as important as the workout itself. So never run away from a stretch. And down. Good stretch. Find balance right here. And hold. Now once you have your balance, reach for the floor. Very good. Keep your focus. Squeeze those abs and slowly come up. Lovely. 1 more, other leg. Find your balance here. And reach for the floor. If you're shaking about, it's fine. Don't worry. All join. And up. Good. Hands behind your back. Open up the chest. Look to the ceiling. And release. 2 shoulder rolls back. And forward. And we're done. Until the next time. Bye-bye.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the Babin, I pay my rent. From the Babin, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
Hello and welcome to Space and Style, a property show designed to connect various stakeholders across the property value chain. We can also provide realistic solutions and deepen your knowledge about the interesting world of real estate. We shall showcase architectural design, interior design trends, lifestyle and real-time property news updates, and the right way to navigate through property development and investment. Join me every week on this channel as I take you through an exciting journey in the world of real estate.
Space and Style, 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays and 5:30 p.m. on Wednesdays.
Because without clarity on who we are and what we are created for, we'll just keep going around in circles without any clear direction for our lives. But there's another big question we need to answer, which is how to align our identity with our purpose. Once you've figured out what your identity is and what your purpose is, you then need to figure out how to make sure that the two align. And with me today is my guest, Mitch Straw, who will be talking to us about aligning your identity with your purpose. Mitch is a singer-songwriter, artist, and entrepreneur with a growing catalogue of over 30 released tracks and 5 albums and collage collection EPs that include collaborations with various industry producers and DJs. His tracks have been played in radio stations across Nigeria and streamed numerous times on international platforms, with majority listenership in the UK, Canada, Nigeria, and the US. Welcome, Mitch! Yeah! Excited!
That intro was intense. I was like, is it me?
Yeah.
Could it be me?
Yes, it is.
Thank you for having me.
So, first thing first, who are you in terms of your identity? What is your identity?
All right, where do you want me to go? Should I go worldly way?
Any way you like.
All right, okay. I'll go the way I subscribe. All right, so I believe my identity is based on a creator who created me and his identity.
Okay.
So that's from there, every other thing comes.
I see.
In how I align myself.
Huh.
But otherwise, if I went the worldly way, which I've probably thought of in the past, I would have just been like, oh, I'm this guy who's tall, dark, blah, blah. This is what people want.
Tall, dark, and handsome.
Oh. You know, this is what people want. This is what people expect of me. This is what blah, blah. So then I have my identity in those things. But fortunately,
So your identity is based on the identity of your creator.
Yes.
So what is then your purpose?
Purpose, I think, is within a place where one human being shouldn't function by itself. Right? We're not made to function alone. That's a given fact. So I know whatever I have to do it for someone, with someone.
For someone, with someone. That's deep.
So that's one thing. So through that, in knowing that, in my awareness of that, and how I approach life and how I treat people, there I can find my purpose. It's like, if I tend to always do these things for people, then I must probably want to help people in general. But then it doesn't mean I have to be a doctor. You know, doesn't mean I have to be a fireman. Doesn't mean I have to be a teacher. I can be a teacher in different forms.
Yes, very true.
You know, so that's the way I think about that in terms of like purpose. Because I feel like purpose is probably only truly achieved at the end. Because then you can look back and be like,
I've never actually heard it said that way before. Purpose is only truly achieved at the end.
Because it's how do you know you've achieved purpose?
Don't you? I don't know actually.
Yeah, because you have an idea of where you want to go, you know, and then if you're lucky enough, you find that, or you find yourself in that purpose, and you're walking that path. So, in what way can you then identify your purpose? It's kind of like that's why when we're sitting with like older people, 80, 90, you can tell some of them, not all of them, have lived their purpose.
But then what about the fact that people say that you need to know your purpose to live a purpose-driven life, to have clarity as to where you're going?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. But can you really fulfill purpose at 10, at 20, at 30? I don't think so.
But isn't...
You can live, so you're living in your purpose.
Okay.
So at the end, you're looking back and then you can hold it like, this is what people have said I was able to do for them. It's like in your eulogy, you know, the people will come, this person was like this. You can identify that person. This person purpose.
I hear you, but I struggle with looking at it that way, because if you don't understand your purpose early on.
Can you understand your purpose, or can you have a knowing of what your purpose is? I feel like you can have a knowing of it, but can you truly understand it if you don't know the whole combination of what you're put on earth to do? And at what point will you know?
Isn't that where it then goes to, you know, initially you had said about your identity, that your identity comes from your creator. Isn't that where the creator then helps you to discover what your purpose is so you can align?
I don't know if you ever really, I believe like God, everything that needs to be done has already been done. God isn't doing anything. He's already done it, right? So whatever is in you, that seed that's meant to be a forest, because you're not going to know that your seed is meant to be a forest. You just know this is a seed. It's on hard ground right now, it's not growing. Or it's on this, it's not, you know, because your environment definitely does play a role, right? So essentially, you grow in that purpose, and back to that line you said, you walk in that purpose. You may not, there are too many distractions, there are too many things that happen in life, there are too many, if you're hungry for example, are you thinking about purpose? Scarcity creates a different type of animal, you know.
Fair enough.
But someone who really knows their purpose, even in scarcity, they function.
True.
Because there's like, I think there's this research that was done about the people, I can't remember the name of the prison, it was like during the Hitler time, where there were some people who actually survived in those concentration camps.
Okay.
And they were happy.
Okay.
But a higher percentage of people, because they were just so concerned about what was happening, or where this is, they couldn't live. They died quicker. But other people literally just, okay, this is the situation.
They were focused.
And then they would influence other people around them as well. So even if you were young and you experienced those people, then that person's purpose is revealed to that child.
Isn't that exactly alignment of purpose? And then how do you then tie that to identity? So you then have to align your identity and your purpose.
Yeah, so I feel, that's a good question. I feel like your identity is your seed.
Your identity is your seed.
It's your seed.
Okay.
Your purpose is the process in which you become a forest. So you don't know you're a forest. You could think you're a plant, but a seed is a forest, essentially, depending on your perspective, right?
Okay.
So that alignment of sunlight, water, rain, because you need all this.
I was just thinking that, okay, you've got a seed, you must water the seed.
And that's alignment.
So that is, so the process of, so let's simplify this.
You are really getting into it. Even the way you say you have to water, I love it. Yeah,
so that's why I'm like, you know what? Let's simplify this thing. So you have a tomato seed.
Yes.
Yeah. On its own, it's just a tomato seed.
It's just a seed.
It can be rubbish in reality.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
But then the minute you water it, the minute you actually know, put it in the soil, water it, make sure it's under sunlight or photosynthesis, nurture it, it grows into a tomato, and then it multiplies. So the process of doing all those things is
alignment.
Alignment.
That process in itself is the alignment.
So then what is misalignment and misalignment?
Misalignment is simply your seed on hard surface. It could be on tar. You know, nothing's gonna happen. That seed is not like, except maybe the tar gets really tarnished, and then it happens, the seed happens to find some form of sand or soil. That's the only way it's gonna, otherwise it's not gonna grow.
I'm thinking of weed in terms of plants, you know, that grow in the wrong places.
And the thing about weeds, they have their own purpose as well. They serve a purpose.
We're talking about plants, guys.
We're talking, yeah.
Not the other type.
But yes, they do serve their purpose as well. I don't believe like there's anything that's truly useless.
True. Okay, so let's even simplify this some more, because maybe we're being a bit intellectual. It's maybe a bit cerebral.
Fair.
But if you were talking to a group of millennials, yeah, and you were, your job was to help them understand the importance of aligning their identity with their purpose, what 3 lessons would you want them to take away with them?
I think it's quite difficult to tell people what to do.
But you can teach or guide.
Even in teaching and guiding, I think like, this is just me personally, right? Because I believe like every individual is an individual, and they will have their own purpose. Like they will have their own way in which they're going to align. Both of us are not going to align in the same way.
True.
In regards to our purpose, right? So,
true.
I think the first thing would be to find your identity.
How do you go about doing that?
We're privy to, for me now, I'd say a Bible, for example. I'm privy to that. Because I feel like if you don't know who you are, then you're in limbo. Like, you know, you have people with mental health, for example. This is not trivial, like making it small or anything, but say I was suicidal at some point in my life, for example. Let's just say that, right? What was the thing I struggled with the most? Identity. There was no purpose. It was kind of like, why am I here? Who would really miss me? What's the importance of, I'm just a speck in the grand scheme of things.
So the first thing is we've got to round up. The time goes by
that
very
identity.
quickly. Find your identity.
Find your identity is the first thing.
First thing.
And allow yourself, give yourself patience. Because you're not going to figure it out quickly. Depending on you. Yeah, patience is like, and you can never have enough patience. Because the minute you think you have,
something else comes up.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You thought you could wait an hour? Wait until someone makes you wait 3 hours and 30 minutes. You know?
And then you do, and then
and then you're like, you know, and then you battle with, so first identity, then allow yourself patience. Allow yourself to be able to make mistakes, to learn. And the third thing is just to see what happens.
Find your identity. In simple terms, give yourself a break. Give yourself a chance to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Be patient with self. Be kind to self.
100%.
And then number 3,
have faith.
Have
See
faith.
what happens. Because I don't think you can't go wrong with those 2 things, identity and having patience. Because think about it, from babies, for example, they are the epitome of. Because they're in your arms and then they're crawling, or no, they're sitting first and then they're crawling. They don't care what's happening, but they know at some point.
I'm gonna have to interrupt you. Mitch, this has been. I hope our viewers, I hope you guys have been able to follow, because it's been quite cerebral. But these are the kind of conversations Mitch and I have. And we were talking about aligning your identity with your purpose. I really do hope you've been able to take something away with you. Thank you so much for watching. In a few minutes, John and Helen will be wrapping up the show, so please stay tuned. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. The bell did a lot for me there. It got me started. Let's go. And it got me, it helped us to end. And that was a very, very interesting gym session. I hope you joined. And if you didn't now, you picked up a few things that you would do later on. Our job here is to make sure that your life is enhanced as much as it's possible, especially your family aspect. John, we have talked so much today about the family.
We've said so much.
Trending issues and all of that.
It's quite scary,
Well,
it means that we have a lot of work to do.
As always.
There's a lot of work to do.
As always, we have
parents.
Yes, as parents. Yes. As parents. Okay, so what do we have with you?
We have our nugget.
Okay.
For this week.
Let's have your
My
nugget.
nugget, of course, if you are familiar with this program, and of course I'm sure you are, is on public speaking. Nuggets on public speaking to help you speak more concisely and to communicate even better than you do now. So my nugget today is, if you don't believe in yourself, why should I as a listener? So if you, the presenter, doesn't show that you believe in what you're saying, don't expect your audience or your listeners to believe in you. So it's all about how you present yourself, or your message, the entire package, how you say it, what you say, and how convincing you are, in the manner in which you put yourself across. So it's important for us to connect, to get across to our audience if we want them to listen to us. So that's the nugget.
Okay.
If you don't believe in yourself, why should I as a listener?
And that's telling me that charity does begin at home. So this is not just limited, to public speaking. It's about life.
It's about life.
Really, we talked about children, parents having sufficient information, the right information to pass on to these children, so they know what is good and what is bad. And in the manner in which the parents disseminate this information is what you just talked about. You need to believe in yourself.
You need to be
body
convincing.
language and everything, you need to be convincing.
Precisely.
So, thank you so much. Thank you. And on the show this morning, the thing that has happened in Chrisland School kicked up our conversation today. And we hope that parents who've had loads of questions, from this matter have been able to get some answers to their questions. It's a very, very serious one. It's like something that's about to blow in our faces. And like John said, we're all responsible. So, conscious parenting and teaching our children sex education and sexuality at the appropriate time. And finding the real word, just giving to them like it is. And it has to be done from home first. Yeah?
Begins at home.
All right, so that's our show today.
That's our show
Any
today.
other thing?
Reluctantly, I'd like to say goodbye.
Okay.
We'll see you all again next Saturday.
Yeah. It's a wonderful weekend, so make sure you enjoy it and make sure you watch us again later tonight. This show is on again at 10:30 tonight and 9:30 tomorrow morning. So if you miss a lot on today's show, you can catch all of the conversation, and it's also trending. It's been screened live.
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
On YouTube.
All right, on YouTube. I'm Helen Omadele. Always a pleasure to be here on the show with you. See you again next week. Bye for now.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. No question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event
on Plus TV. Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on Plus TV Africa.
Peptic ulcer disease is the disease of, not exactly disease, a condition, a clinical condition where there is an ulceration, meaning a wound in the stomach. Peptic, coined from the name peptic acid. Peptic acid is found in the gastric. So sometimes you hear gastric ulcer, you hear peptic ulcer. They're not physically different. They are just relating to the stomach. The only other different type of ulcer is duodenal ulcer, which is just the next organ after the stomach, all right? The stomach, which is the sac that contains food, also contains gastric acid or peptic acid that helps to break down protein. The word peptic there is directly related to protein, okay? So it helps to break down protein. But over time, there could be hypersecretion of this acid that could now cause a breakdown in the walls of the stomach. Now, the stomach walls originally contains mucous membranes or mucosa that prevents this acid from eating up the stomach lining. For some reasons, again, this mucous membrane could also be reduced or absent and further allowing this acid to eat up the stomach. And when this happens, you come down with what you call the peptic ulcer disease. Peptic ulcer disease can be caused by a couple of things. One of them is stress. During stressful moments, there is a hypersecretion of acid, right? Just to break down the food in it. It's natural. In the whole body, when you're stressed, the body metabolic rate is increased and intensified, and you have many activities going on. Carbohydrates is broken down, more proteins are broken down, fatty acids are broken down to provide one major thing, which is glucose, to allow you to think, send glucose to vital organs. One of them is the brain, the other is the eyes, the other is the heart. All these organs, want to function optimally. Now, the gastric juice is also enhanced to break down any food in your body. So that's why if you just ate and you get into very major activity, not long after you'll be looking for the food. Or if you're chewing gum, because those are signs of stress. Now, so stress is one of them. But then when you try stress in an empty stomach recurrently, you are giving room for this acid to act on the walls of your intestine. The second major cause of peptic ulcer disease is a bacteria called Helicobacter pylori. Helicobacter pylori is a very dangerous bacteria because, a bacteria that dwells in acid, I really don't know what you want to do to that bacteria, but basically it stays there and it eats up the lining of the intestine, all right? So this is one of the implicative factors for those who are positive for ulcers. One of the third causes is the use of drugs, certain drugs or certain chemical substances that are erosive, caustic soda. One of that one is some of all these drugs you buy on the road, you just ingest them, you swallow them anyhow, especially pain relievers. That's why you don't just go out to take pain relievers just anyhow. They affect the stomach, and of course they potentiate, because what they do is they inhibit that mucous membrane I talked about that prevents the acid from getting on the stomach, and then they remove it. And you see, you have the acid, the direct contact, and then you have some ulceration, wounds in your stomach, and it can get so bad that by the time those wounds get then straight to a vessel, it ruptures the vessel, and then you have bleeding. So you have people bleeding sometimes, all right? And then one other cause is a genetic factor. So sometimes ulcers can be genetic, all right? It's called the Zollinger-Ellison syndrome, where the vagus nerve that supplies the intestine is hyperstimulated, and so you have excessive secretion of acid. And listen, this is specific for certain people, okay? Just the way some people sweat more than other people, just the way some people, eat more than the other people. Some people produce saliva more than other people. You can also produce gastric acid more than other people. Well, the word is try to eat recurrently. Don't fast every time. If you're fasting, let it clear that you're fasting, okay? And you want to fast guidedly, okay? Maybe with your doctor. You like to see your doctor first and be sure that you're good to go, okay? If not, you don't do it recurrently, okay? What other things can you do to prevent it? Yeah, irrational use of drugs. Don't just take drugs because you see them. Don't drink chemicals easily. The use of alcohol potentiates it. Regular intake of alcohol exposes you to possibilities of coming down with peptic ulcer disease. Now, one other thing is ingestion of diet. What kind of food should you do? High levels of acid containing diet should be minimized. All right. Sometimes you see people taking all kinds of concussions, herbal concussions. You are exposing yourself to great dangers. Okay. When you do all kinds of acid containing meals or diet, lime, you're trying to mix lime and ginger, and you're trying to lose weight, but you are potentiating something else. So it's important that you are careful what you are mixing, prevent it. You don't have to take excessive protein diet. Some people like to take roasted meat, for example, what we call suya locally. You do a lot of suya and you do a lot of alcohol. That can potentiate peptic ulcer disease for people. So prevent it by reducing this type of foods. Try not to take a lot of carbonated drinks. Alcohol dropped drastically. Water is very important. And before you do some of these things, please eat right. All right, eat your balanced diet. Don't skip meals. For basic treatments, you just get to meet your doctor who would prescribe the drugs for you, but you're not supposed to eat heavy foods, but just eat in bits. All right. So you wake up in the morning, you want to sometimes do alkalinized water, and then a slight breakfast. Not anything acidic. A balanced diet is fine. If you must go for a fast, then tell your doctor. Major symptoms, remarkable symptoms of peptic ulcer disease is that you have painful sensation here on your upper stomach. Many times that gets you to the back. Many people have diagnoses of peptic ulcer disease, which are really not peptic ulcer disease. So they come up to the hospital and they say I have ulcer. And I say, who said? And they say, well, my auntie said, or my uncle said. No, you have to have a diagnosis of peptic ulcer disease. And one of them, like I said, is a test of H. pylori. The other test is, which is usually the gold standard. There's urine breath test, one of the tests, but the gold standard is an endoscopy, where you get to see the internal organ and be sure that there's a wound there. And this usually happens when there's bleeding, from the mouth or from the anus. All right. Other symptoms, like I said, is bleeding. You have bleeding. So you don't just have pain, that spans from this upper stomach down to the back. So it feels like a dagger piercing through you, down to the back. It's characteristic of that. Okay. Especially worsened when you've not eaten or when you just ate. The moment you take in food, you feel that sharp pain that, wanes for a while. So food affects the pain. Okay. Of course, bleeding is one of the side effects, one of the symptoms of peptic ulcer disease, bleeding, either from the mouth, just see slight trace of blood, or from the anus. One more thing is the heartburn. You feel that constricting pain, heartburn. Then lastly, there are few other symptoms, but one of the remarkable symptoms is a headache. You have a persistent headache that can be called a migraine. Not necessarily a migraine, but many people just say, oh, it's a migraine, but it's not. You notice that headache coincides with when you have the stomach pain, or it precedes the stomach pain. Now, that is a kind of symptom of a peptic ulcer disease. Usually, it's said that some of the brain cells, have some mimicking cells that look like the ulcer cells. So whenever the ulcer is firing, or whenever the gastric acid is firing, you have the same firing occurring in the brain, and you have that headache. Whenever you have it, you need to treat properly for peptic ulcer disease.
Research has it that working with your spouse has an impact on your personal relationship, as some couples believe that working and building a business together has made their personal relationship much stronger, deepening their trust, appreciation, and making both the business and marriage more successful. But the question is it healthy for couples to work together? Well, we're about finding out from this couple, Andrea and Collins Teke, who do not only have the same career, but also work in the same organization and as well share office space.
This is how these two on-air personalities resume their dream career jobs together every day. Collins and Andrea Teke were renowned individual broadcasters before they fell in love and got married. Not a few people think that relationships are hard enough to deal with on their own, and when you throw working together into the mix, it can get even trickier. One interesting thing about the Tekes is how seamless the couple anchors the same show together, a first of its kind in Nigerian radio.
Lagos, Nigeria, we want to know how you're doing this morning. What is going on around your area? We want you to tell us and also scream, "What's up, Lagos?"
Yes! Yes! Chest alive!
They didn't always work together. Collins used to run a production studio, and it was at work that he met Andrea.
I needed a female voice. The client demanded for a specific female voice that sounded a certain way. And explained it to one of my, staff or team members at the time. And he said, "No, I know this lady. This lady is, she has a great voice. She's fantastic. She's beautiful." So, the boss, you even like the babe self, that kind of thing. And I said, "Okay, let's hear." Before you know it, there was a phone call. Before you know it, and then, it was timely. She came into the studio working. She just stole the presence of the room, And I couldn't do anything. I didn't have anything in mind because at the time I was in another relationship.
What happens at home? Does Andrea take up the role of a traditional African wife and mom?
I'm blessed to have him. I'm not sure that I'll be able to meet up. I'm not sure that I would be able to meet up if he has not been the way he has been, that is being super supportive. I wake up in the morning and the first thing is to take care of my baby because we have a son together. The first thing is to take care of him, have his bath, prepare his meal, cook and, clean, have my own bath prepared, and then we come to work. But the good thing is he takes up the responsibility of bathing this boy in the morning. So he takes that off my duty, so to speak. Sometimes I do it while he cleans or dresses him up, and then I face the kitchen. So we share that responsibility. It's more like sharing the responsibility at home and also sharing the responsibility at work. So it makes it easy for me.
It's a situation of we are going to work together. Yeah. We have to leave at the same time. We meet at the same time. Get on time. And then do our show. We have to prep afterwards, do everything together. So I can't go back home and start saying, "Where's my food? Where's my food from where?" You understand? So we plan it together. Yeah. And I think that pushed me to also, rise to the occasion, which is something I would encourage, especially couples, whether or not you're working together, to rise to the occasion when your woman needs it the most.
Thank you.
Spending time together may be good for their relationship, but this couple also faces challenges, especially in maintaining their individual identities.
People will call on the show and say, "Hey, Collins, tell your wife." And the wife is right there. They call and they greet him first before they greet me. Some don't even greet me. Some don't even regard that I am on the show with him. Yeah. So it dealt with me when we started initially, dealt with me mentally, dealt with me emotionally, because it felt like I am there, but still not there. Because, it took a while for people to recognize my presence, because at the end of the day, you are his wife. You are supposed to calm down when he's talking. You're supposed to be quiet when he's talking. And, this is my job. I was a broadcaster before I got married to him. Yeah. And so it is my job first. And that's what people took a while to embrace. It's just something I'm dealing with. And I think that people would gradually get used to it. There are no days that we don't have, times where we quarrel, times where he's on a different cloud, I'm on a different cloud, and we have to come on the radio and talk and make Lagos happy.
And do it. Kick a show.
And make Lagos happy. So it's actually challenging where you have to let the world know that you're dealing with something and come on the air and be beautiful and be excited. We sometimes forget that we're having any issue or there's a quarrel or there's a misunderstanding or there's one problem to deal with right on the show. Yeah. And after the show, we're out, we're giving ourselves, that was a great show.
I don't know, right? But we're fighting. People tend to just make what they make out of the situation. So whatever you present is what you get. So before you know it, your individual brand starts sinking in the joint brand.
Sharing an office space requires this couple having as little time away from each other as possible, as nerves may become frayed.
We have to create the fun.
Exactly what I was going to say.
And make it a fun filled. That's what we do.
That's what I hear. We create our fun. When we're tensed, right, with everything happening, we go we call it decluttering. We probably go to the beach side, nobody with us,
No
just the both of
phones.
us, no phones, nothing. And we are sitting, discussing what is going on in our lives as
one after the
individuals
other.
and also as a couple. We just declutter. What I have been having in my mind that is building up to a resentment, I tell it to him. He also tells me we find a way to trash it out.
And it's a no judgment zone.
Yeah, we try not to judge each other. We just say the way it is.
A number of private organizations don't allow their staff get romantically linked. Collins shares his view about this.
It's a world that is changing from, you know, what it used to be, making laws just because you want to make laws, but doing it for the best interest, in the best interest of those involved. So it's a question of, you know, the interest of those involved. I don't think it changes anything. If anything, couples working together has proven, at least in our own case, that it promotes bonding. It also promotes, in fact, I've been a better broadcaster, you know, from the moment she joined me on radio, and even the listener could notice that. I've been a better person, individual, even at work, you know, behaving myself, not doing anything. Because I mean, my family is here, I can't go around messing around, you know, even if I'm that crazy guy, I have to, you know. So the benefits are countless. So if, I don't know what the fears are, but I think I want to talk to organizations who have such policies. I think they should review it and you know, give people the chance. I mean, there's nothing wrong for people to be in love and work together.
That's right. I agree with him.
The couple have advice for couples willing to work and build business together.
Once you can create a great atmosphere when you're together, when no one is looking at you, when there's no camera like this one, I'm sure you can replicate that easily when there's a camera. So, but if you do not have that great life and then you want to fake it in front of people and come in and say, oh, everything is fine, hey, you know, it's a matter of time. The toxicity that's involved in it would show, and then it would affect the work.
The work, yeah.
So it all depends on the couple.
There would be challenges. There are things that you would experience that will make you feel like, no, I can't go on anymore. That's just the way marriage is. There are tough times that will make you feel like, yo, I cannot continue this. It's going to happen even with the business. But if you take it the way you take your marriage and say, regardless of this turbulence, regardless of the challenges, it has to work. We have to get it done. When you have that mentality, trust me, it might just come out beautiful.
From the office of the Tekes, we head to the home of another interesting couple that has been into automobile mechanics for many years. Wale and Taya Oshikoya have been married for 10 years and working together in repairing vehicles. This home doubles as one of their workshops in Lagos. Marrying Wale was a dream come true for Tayo.
This work started through my husband. Even when we were during courtship, he has been on the field. I was not on the field, but I love the job. So after we get married, I have to join him so that we can work in together, because it's what I've been willing to do for long. And I just love that job. I just love it because when I was small, it's my dad's field. So I used to assist my dad when I was in primary, secondary school. So to God be the glory, after my school and everything, getting married, God now gave me someone that I love and the field I love most.
Meet my wife, we married together, and I have to tell my wife that this is the kind of work that I'm doing. And I somebody that I love so much, and she loved the work. So when I say, well, I have to tell him to go and quit where he's working before. There's one company that she's working and is managing the company, and she agreed with me. She surrendered. She said, okay, she quit from there, and we'll join the work together. And thank God for now.
The home of Oshikoyas is well managed, according to a lady mechanic, as Tayo is called.
My work did not disturb my home at all. Even we stay behind, maybe we close very late. My husband will tell me very early that you go home, children are home, they are off from school, go home. Then I'll come home, my husband will be doing the job. By the second day, early in the morning, we will go to balance up the job.
You say, Wale, I say, ma. said, this business, you have to go more forward now. I said, like how? Now he introduced me to one fashionable school in Ikorodu, automobile school, technology. So we went together. Take me to the school. I said, oh boy, okay. So I see my junior brother that's even my age, my children age mates. I say, you see those ones that will sit down together in the class. I say, oh, no problem now. And I encourage myself because I know what I'm looking for. I know what I'm going. I know where I'm coming from. I know where I'm going. So God give me I'll give God the glory. We'll sit down together. We'll write the exam, and then take me. So and I'll go there. He give me back school. He give me my shoe. Give me my everything uniform. I take it. I go to the school. I saw some of my age mates, of my class, of my children mates. We sit down together. I say, Papa, I say, how are you? I'm your Papa. Yes.
Personal and marital issues are not allowed to link into the workspace.
We both have our ups and downs, but it doesn't affect our business.
Exactly.
Our ups and downs is inside our room. Once we are in the same bed together, our ups and downs is off. It did not affect our work. Customer cannot even see it in my face. Rather than for me to now say that, no, it's someone I love. Why will I disturb his business, or why will I disturb my business? If that thing shows in my work, that means our career is nothing.
Normally, as a woman being, as a flesh, we are flesh. Sometimes we fight. We quarrel each other. I told you that, go and do this work. We say, well, I'm tired. I'm tired. Which kind tired? My friend, you have to do it too. You also, I'm your boss. Say, okay. You don't know that I'm tired. I'm a woman now. Say, you have to do it because you love the job. We say, okay. And you do it. Sometimes, like last week now, I said him to go and do work in Ibadan. He say, only me. I say, yes, now. You go and face the work and you defend the work. And you go. Sometimes we'll quarrel, you fight, but you will say, I will hug him back because I know that he's woman. Says some things that I'll say, okay, come outside. Leave, let me come and lose it for you. So we have to settle it back.
Wale and Tayo have had to endure side talks from people who think their line of profession is strange.
There's one man I used to work with him. He just called me, say, Wale. I said, sir. He said, why your wife used to follow you up and down? I said, sir, my wife is my colleagues. My wife is my partner for this business. If I want to take a boat now, or I want to do something, I want to buy this, I want to lose this, I will tell him, yeah, go and do this, go and do this. So since I've faced so many challenges on this work with my wife, but so far my wife, somebody like he make courage on the work, and she determined on him. There's no how people can discourage him. Even you face so many challenges on mommy's side, on family side issue. They say, why you follow your husband? Why do you tell your husband to open a supermarket for you and do business and selling and do this? You say, Mom, that's your own time. This is my own time. This person, I love it and I love the job. So all the worry people saying is raw. Sometimes they call me and say, Wale, why you don't get money to give your wife? I say, Mommy, it's not that I don't have money to give my wife, but my wife loves this job. So what? Say, okay, after some things, after so many years, they leave us.
If you are a dirty person from your home, you will surely be a dirty person. But if I'm going out now, wash my body, clean my hands, you won't believe that this person is a mechanic. I fix fingers as well. I do makeup if I'm going out. You won't even believe that I am a mechanic. That is why at times if we go to customers' house, before putting on my overall, they will say, you come with your wife. If they not say that, no, she's a mechanic, they will say, the women, they love to see me doing the job. They will say, Oga, go and sit down first. Let me see her, the way she's performing the whole things. Even if after everything, if the woman will not say, wow, woman does this one. If my workmanship is 2,000 naira, we say, oh, my dear, let me give her 5,000 naira because she encouraged me.
Sometimes I will tell them that, okay, today we want to go out, we don't do any work, we don't have any customers place today. We are going to dress, wear your dress, do your nails, do everything. I will take him out to go and enjoy ourselves.
As a woman, there is nothing hard. If you have the determination, this thing, I want to lose it. It's almost the same thing, the way we handle our husband and children at home. Any children that's very difficult, you know how to handle those children. That's why the work is.
See people that start before us, that is doing this business, that there is no more again. But we just give the God the glory because we achieved so many things on this work. And we thank God the kind of wife that is given to me. So we achieved so many things.
A work that you are doing, you can be able to train your children's school, and you can be able to cater for your home. Yeah, you can even have a shelter on your head, having your own car. What else someone needs on this earth? Nothing more.
They have also faced challenges working together as a mechanic couple.
If you have a space outside there, people seeing couples working together, we have more customers. But immediately you go outside there to make your own workshop, government will come and demolish it. It's a big challenge on us, even all mechanics. They see the work as a dirty work and they are going out on their daily basis with their cars. And of which, if the car eventually stopped on the road, they're still going to call we mechanics.
Wale and Tayo believe mono-career couples can emerge strong and fulfilled as long as their values align.
I encourage the people that want to do the business, want to do the work. They should focus on the thing that they want to do. Don't look down on yourself. Maybe you are too big, you are too do this. Just focus on it. And the couples that want to do the business, they have to have trust. Trust your wife. Let wife trust your husband. If you make money today, it's not that the money that you make today, you make sure that you finish all the money. You have to put half for savings or anything. Because like this job that we're doing now, we use our money to run the business.
If you have passion, you have zeal for your husband's work, and you doesn't have anything doing, it's very advisable to join your husband once you don't have any skeleton, in quotes, in your cupboard. So you have every right to join your husband just to make the business grow.
Our findings point that some couple craft a way to thrive in love and work by understanding each transition and knowing what questions to ask and what traps to avoid.
Yes! Cheers to life!
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408 or send an email to marketing@PlusTvAfrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
I like rolling my strong this way. I call it strong. I call SK Popo. I call them strong because, as I said, it motivates me, it gives me energy, it makes me move. I'm addicted to tramadol, Baba Blue. Everyone knows it as well. No, codeine, Benelin with codeine. Tramadol was given to me by my father. Him too, he didn't even know what it was. My name is Tunde Smith. I'm a drug addict and well, I'm here to tell you my story about drugs. I started taking drugs when I was 20. I was this kind of child then that I was always trapped in my house. My dad didn't always allow me to go out and my mom didn't always allow me to go out. So when I got out to the world after I finished secondary school and I spent 1-2 years at home out of frustration, then I started going out, meeting people, and that was when I now found out about SK. And that's the street name outside. It got to a time that without it, I couldn't eat anymore. I was very, very much fatter than this, but I guess it's drugs that did this to me because I lost my appetite. I didn't know how, I didn't know how to get it first of all. It was always a friend that always bought it for me. So when he was not around, when he had to go to school, he didn't even leave me around. I had to wait for a while before I could find my way to get into the Zanga zone and get the drug, you understand? So it was very, very hard for me to to hold on to it, saying, okay, fine, I won't take this thing for a long period of time. But when I had the chance to take it, I took it excessively. I took it like there was no tomorrow. I took it like that was the last one that was on earth, just to make me feel good. I won't say I'm proud to say I'm a drug addict, but well, I guess I found myself here and I have to actually tell myself the truth. So yes, I am a drug addict. I steal money from my mom, I steal money from my dad. I just try my best to like get a shot of it a day at least. My curiosity always got the best of me when it came to drugs. So I moved on from just taking SK to taking other ones. And it got to a point in time I tuned into hard drugs. So I was taking all of them together. I would take tramadol, I would take Rochi, I would take all those kind of stuff. I would take them, you know, just like know what this does and what this does. You know, all those kind of drugs, they're very, very easy to get. All you can do is just go down to the pharmacy and just ask for it. You don't need prescriptions, you don't need anything. You just go there, you get it. Hard drugs like that, I call it hard because of what it does when you take a large amount of it, because the feeling it gives and everything like that. And it's so easy to get. It's like just to walk down the park and you get it so easy.
Psychologists receive phone calls day and night from addicts who want to give up drugs. Every 2 calls is about one particular medicine, tramadol.
Parents shouldn't give their children medications containing the narcotics codeine or tramadol.
Tramadol was given to me by my father. Him too, he didn't even know what it was. When I don't take it, it makes me feel like the whole world is on top of me. It makes me feel like I am nothing. I'm about to go get some supplies, you know, talking about the usual stuff, everything, tramadol, pawpaw and stuff like that, you know. It's not an easy task getting these things and actually trying to get a video of it as well, but let's just pray that I don't get caught. But I just want to show how easy it is to get these things at no extra cost. Yes, quite easy. Okay, this is where I have to pass if I want to go get, you know, if I have to go get the stuff, you know. It's a very, very long way. It's a railway line. It's known to everyone. Everyone knows that if you want to get drugs, this is the place to be if you're in Lagos, especially this Yaba side. You can see the environment is a place whereby it's not conducive, you know. You can see everyone, no one knows I'm doing this. So, you know, if I'm being caught over here, if anyone should just suspect that I'm doing something like this, I'm screwed already. Like, I'm literally screwed because no, the police is not going to come here on time. This place is so deep inside the location that I'm going to this stuff. Before the police gets here, I would have been dead. It's so sure about it. This place that I'm about to enter now, I want to go get tramadol. It's, as I said, it's just another shop, another pharmacy that you can just walk into and just get anything you want. Hello. Good afternoon. Do you have tramadol? Yeah? 100 milligram. Okay, let me have one then. I'm asking for her now if I could get tramadol, and she says yes, she has it. I'm going to take 100 milligrams. That is about 5 pills. So I'm just going to wait for her and let her, you know, sell it to me. In the meantime, I'm showing you guys around the pharmacy, you know. As I said, it's all being done secretly, so no one knows I'm actually doing this. As you've seen right here, this view that you're looking at is what we call Zanga. This, as you can see right there at the far right corner, you see that you can see some guys sitting right there. I can't go down there because I'm not meant to do this kind of thing at all. If I'm caught doing this, that's it for me right there. But as you can see over there now, you can see those guys seated right there. Those are those people that like take drugs. They're always there. This is where you can do anything you want. In fact, this place that you're looking at right here, it's not even on the Lagos State map. This place doesn't exist at all. This place is like, it's meant to be a canal. There's a canal over there. That's where you see the bushes, right at this corner, after this house. There's a canal that passes through that side. So all this place is meant to be like a gutter, you know. But, you know, you can see houses everywhere. Everyone just trying to survive. Over this place that you're looking at, the guy that you're seeing over there, that's actually the dealer. Because he sees me standing here for so long, he's like wondering what's up. Like, he wants to come and meet me, but I'm just like giving him the signals not to come yet, because I don't really want anybody to see me doing this. That's it for me. Tramadol, this is 250 milligrams of tramadol, just one pill. You have some people that take two sometimes when you really want to get high. Then this one is the normal one, the ones that you get like anywhere on the streets. Anywhere you go, you can just ask anyone and you get it. This is 100 milligrams. The normal dosage, any normal guy that takes trams, when they start, this is what they start with. Because before you get to 250, you have to like start with 50 milligrams, 100 milligrams. You can't just get up to here, you just get messed up. Rochi. This is Rochi. This one you take, this is 100 milligrams. Yeah, this 100 milligrams, just one pill. Just one pill of this, and you're good to go. Having like the motivation to like come out and speak about this is because it wasn't easy for me as well. I had to like seek help from, you know, a doctor. When everything was going crazy for me, I had to like seek help medically, and they were the ones that gave me the motivation to like do what I'm doing here today. If there's anyone out there that it's into drugs and feeling depressed, and you just feel that okay, fine, you want to step out, but you don't know how to. It can be hard, but it all starts by that step. It all starts by you just going out there and just seeking help. No one is going to like hunt you down. No one is going to arrest you. It's just about you just coming out and just saying this is it. Because that was the step I took.
Slick City Empire.